So good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council on Tuesday, January 27, 2026. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Sharland,
Here.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross, Mr. Mosley, Mrs. Salanetro,
Here.
Mrs. Strasburger, Mrs. Warwick,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Here.
5 members present.
Thank you all. We could take a moment and please do the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain quiet for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next order of business is to amend the agenda. Is there a motion to amend?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda has been amended. Let the record reflect that we've also been joined by Councilman Mosley, Councilwoman Strasburger, and Councilwoman Gross. With that, we'll move on to our will of councils, and we'll begin with Councilwoman Warwick, and I believe you want to read it in its entirety.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. So thanks everyone. This will of council is to encourage Senators John Fetterman and Dave McCormick to vote no on additional funding for DHS and ICE. So here we go. Whereas the United States Senate will soon vote on H.R. 7147, the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act 2026, which includes $64.4 billion for the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. And whereas $10 billion of that funding will be allocated to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, adding to the tens of billions already allocated to ICE for 2026 by the Trump administration and Congress, and serving essentially as a, quote, blank check to ramp up and expand operations across the United States. And whereas under the oversight of U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, many ICE agents have engaged and continue to engage in lawless, cruel, and unconstitutional activities without accountability to Congress or the public. And whereas many ICE agents routinely violate the constitutional rights of both U.S. citizens and non-citizen residents alike, including assaulting and pepper spraying peaceful protesters, ordering people to stop recording officers in public places, then harassing, detaining, and arresting those who fail to comply, and forcing entry into private homes and businesses without judicial warrant. And whereas in 2025, 32 people died in ICE custody, the highest number in more than 2 decades. And whereas ICE agents under the direction of Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino are committing an ongoing and escalating assault on the city of Minneapolis. And whereas ICE agents have used deadly force against 12 people during immigration enforcement operations since September of 2025, including U.S. citizens Carlos Jimenez of Ontario, California, Renee Good of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Alex Preti of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And whereas an off-duty ICE agent shot and killed U.S. citizen Keith Porter of Los Angeles, California on New Year's Eve 2025. And whereas nearly 1,000 Pittsburgh area residents have been taken into custody by ICE since January of 2025, more than triple the number of arrests in the previous year. And whereas ICE is making the communities in which it operates demonstrably less safe, putting residents in danger, and increasing the workload on already overextended local law enforcement departments. And whereas Pittsburgh's new mayor, Corey O'Connor, and former mayor, Ed Gainey, both committed publicly to the city's non-cooperation with ICE. And whereas it is the duty of Pittsburgh's mayor, city council, the Department of Public Safety, and all our elected representatives to do everything within our power to protect the constitutional rights and ensure the safety and security of all Pittsburgh residents. And whereas drastically increasing funding for DHS and ICE will only increase their ability to cause chaos and harm in communities across the country, including here in Pittsburgh. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Council of the City of Pittsburgh hereby urges U.S. Senators John Fetterman and Dave McCormick, as well as all United States senators committed to upholding the Constitution of the United States and the rule of law, to vote no on H.R. 7147 and to demand nonpartisan and independent investigations into the activities of DHS and ICE in our communities.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The will of council has been approved and will be work with the clerk to get it transmitted. We now have a second will of council sponsored by Councilman Strasburger. Councilwoman, do you wish to have it read in its entirety or just the whereas at the
I
end?
would like to read it. I would like to read it in its entirety, if that's okay.
Sure, Madam Clerk.
Councilperson Strasburger presents, whereas paid family and medical leave would allow workers to take time away from work to care for themselves or loved ones during critical life events, including the birth or adoption of a child, recovery from serious illness or injury, caring for an elderly or ill family member, addressing family matters related to military deployment, or seeking safety from domestic violence or abusive caregiving situations. And whereas medical experts, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, recommend a minimum of 12 weeks of paid leave for families, yet without paid leave protections, as many as 23% of employed mothers return to work within 10 days of childbirth due to financial pressure. And whereas research shows that access to paid family leave significantly improves maternal and infant health outcomes, including a reduction in maternal rehospitalization following childbirth and lower rates of infant rehospitalization and postnatal mortality. And whereas access to paid family leave has been shown to reduce racial disparities in health outcomes, as Black mothers with paid leave experience fewer preterm births, improved postpartum care access, and better infant health outcomes, addressing inequities that disproportionately affect families in Pittsburgh and across the Commonwealth. And whereas paid family and medical leave strengthen workforce participation and economic stability, as employees who can take paid leave are more likely to return to the workforce within 1 year postpartum and are significantly less likely to rely on public assistance programs during their child's first year of life. And whereas by midlife, a substantial portion of the workforce experiences work-limiting health conditions, emphasizing the importance of paid leave protections that allow workers to recover and remain attached to the labor force. And whereas allowing a family member time off to care for an elderly parent not only keeps them out of nursing home care, it's what families want, and it is fiscally responsible for Pennsylvania. And whereas evidence from states that have implemented paid family and medical leave programs demonstrates positive or neutral impacts on businesses, including increased productivity, minimal compliance burdens, and positive outcomes for small businesses. And whereas statewide paid family and medical leave legislation has broad public support across the Commonwealth, with more than 80% of Pennsylvanians expressing support for a paid leave program. And whereas establishing statewide family and medical leave would generate economic benefits for families, employers, and communities by increasing workforce retention, reducing healthcare costs, and strengthening local economies, including in the city of Pittsburgh. And whereas proposed paid family and medical leave programs are designed to be budget neutral, funding benefits and administrative costs through payroll contributions rather than drawing on state general revenue. And whereas a public paid family and medical leave program would promote gender equity, racial equity, public health, and economic security for working families throughout the city of Pittsburgh and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh affirms its commitment to supporting working families, advancing health equity, and promoting economic stability, and calls upon the Pennsylvania General Assembly to advance and enact the Family Care Act, House Bill 200 and Senate Bill 906. Be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh urges sustained legislative action to ensure that all Pennsylvanians have access to paid leave during critical life events, recognizing such policies as an essential investment in the health, dignity, and economic well-being of workers and families.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing
Mr.
none?
President.
Oh, sorry, Councilwoman.
Yeah, just to note, this is the timing of this is such that a coalition advocating for the Family Care Act, which is slightly more comprehensive than some other bills out there that only discuss parental leave. This is comprehensive for those in the sandwich generation caring for older family members, for other instances, will be in full force in Harrisburg tomorrow, lobbying representatives and senators in favor of these particular bills. So wanted to make sure that they were armed with this support from City Council, and I appreciate colleagues' support on this.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The will of council has been approved. Our next order of business is public comment. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited in matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which may be before city council. Profanity will not be permitted. After you are called, please restate your name, provide your neighborhood for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is David Demko. You came off of mute, so you should.
Hi, everyone, can you
Yep,
hear me?
we can hear you.
Oh, okay, hi. Yes, yeah, my name is David Demko. I'm the Assistant Director of Scenic Pittsburgh. I've been at that job for the last 15 years. I live at 1303 Boyle Street on the north side, and I've lived there for about 30 years now. Let's see, so, I'm here to talk about the North Side Entertainment District. Let me ask a question here. Who here would like a billboard in their front yard? Imagine, one of those big electronic billboards, endlessly scrolling ads for the casino, for the rib cook-off, for the next Kenny Chesney show. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Anybody? So if you wouldn't tolerate a sign like this in your front yard, would you ask your neighbors to accept a billboard in their front yard? This is exactly what this entertainment bill does. It allows an unlimited number of billboards in our front yard. That's right, our collective front yard, the place visitors look at when they go to Mount Washington or the West End Overlook. It is the iconic view of Pittsburgh. And this bill is a billboard free for all. These signs will be visible from Troy Hill, from Perrysville, from Fineview, Mount Washington, West End. And yes, these are billboards. I had someone tell me, oh, this isn't a billboard bill. They scroll advertising messages for events and businesses 24/7. They're really big signs. They measure 500 to 2,500 square feet in size. The largest signs we allow in the city are 750 square feet. That's the big billboard, and we only allow those in industrial districts. If someone builds a 2,500 square foot sign, it would be the second largest sign in the city. How would you feel if another council person from a different district decided your neighborhood needed a few dozen electronic signs in your neighborhood? Councilwoman Gross, there's a lot of entertainment in your district, restaurants, shows, Maybe you need a dozen of these signs. Councilwoman Strasburger, that's a thriving business community in Squirrel Hill. More signs, more business, right? Councilman Lavelle? Of course not. You wouldn't tolerate it. This is the worst sign bill I've ever seen. Giant electronic signs, unlimited in number. This is not the way you regulate signs. Signs should be regulated one at a time. Signs this large should always be a special exception. This bill creates a billboard free-for-all zone. It's a build anything you want, as many as you want. Please vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next registered speaker is Zipporah Feldman.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great, wonderful. Thanks so much. My name is Zipporah Feldman. I'm at 222 Oakview Avenue. And I am the Policy and Research Director for Scenic America, the only national 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to preserving scenic beauty in the United States. My work focuses specifically on outdoor advertising policy, and I regularly engage with federal, state, and local governments on sign regulation. While I work for the national organization, I live in Pittsburgh. Scenic America strongly opposes the sign proposals in the North Shore Entertainment District. Similar to many of the largest cities in the U.S., the city of Pittsburgh has longstanding regulations to prevent the proliferation of signs and billboards. And this is for a very simple reason. In every area in the country, billboards, especially digital ones, are unpopular and create real safety, environmental, and quality of life impacts that are not worth the trade-off. They distract drivers, use large amounts of electricity in an already constrained grid, reduce property values, and reduce tourism. And for a city that has a long-standing interest in tackling light pollution, digital billboards are a complete contradiction, with light levels far exceeding safe levels for humans and animals. Across the country, we're seeing a troubling pattern in cities with strong billboard regulations. Rather than pursuing broad, transparent trade changes, that outdoor advertising industry is increasingly seeking special sign districts to bypass long-standing rules. And while these sign districts were originally designed as kind of containment tools that allowed limited negotiated exceptions to otherwise strict billboard controls, they are increasingly being used to authorize large volumes of new signage that would not be permitted under normal zoning rules. When this happens, communities lose more than just visual character. They lose public trust and meaningful control over their own planning frameworks. If Pittsburgh moves forward with this approach, the question before you is not just whether these signs belong in the North Shore, but whether longstanding citywide protections still mean anything at all. Across the country, once cities open these stores, it becomes extraordinarily difficult to close. Pittsburgh has spent decades building policies to protect its neighborhoods, night sky, and its public realm. Approving these proposals would move the city in the opposite direction, and not because the residents asked for it. I urge the council to uphold Pittsburgh's existing sign regulations and reject this process that would weaken them through exception rather than public deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Bethany Cameron.
Good morning, council members. My name is Bethany Cameron and I live in Overbrook. And today I'm here with Inform Up, a local news nonprofit which reports weekly on public meetings and includes surveys so we can represent readers' preferences back to elected officials. Our community survey ran from January 22 to 26. We recorded 51 total responses. 8 of 9 districts were represented. I'll cover 3 budget priorities. Here's the feedback from this past week. We asked, if the $20 million annual funding for city vehicles passes, how should the city prioritize its fleet replacement? 50% said condition-based priorities should take precedent, aka replacing the worst first. 28% said public works vehicles should take priority. 15% said EMS and fire vehicles, and 2% said equal distribution across departments and or police vehicles should take priority. A resident from the Central North Side said, some types of vehicles, such as snowplows, are not needed every day. In other towns where I've lived, people with plows on their personal vehicles were on call during the winter for fast response street cleaning. That way, not every snowplow has to be purchased and operated by the city. An East Liberty resident said, police vehicles should not be prioritized. It should be either equal or based solely on condition, but it may be hard to get an objective comparison of vehicle conditions across different agencies. Regarding PAR funding, we asked, the city does not provide annual funding for Pittsburgh Action Against Rape, or PAR. Given the concerns over state funding, should the city include annual support for PAR in its budget? 58% somewhat or strongly agree, 28% somewhat or strongly disagree. A resident from Bloomfield said the city is not a foundation and should not generally be in the business of funding nonprofits, no matter how important their work is. Now, regarding specialized district expansion, we asked, should the city create additional specialized district if the North Shore Entertainment District is successful? 28 respondents answered this question. 35% said no additional district should be created. 32% said they were unsure or need more information. 10% said districts like this should not exist. 10% said yes, other entertainment area districts should exist. 7% said yes for commercial corridors, and 3% said wanted to keep it limited to the North Shore. Full survey results will be sent along to your offices today. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jennifer Bannon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I would just like to provide comment in advance of the police chief interview coming up on Wednesday, January 29th. I have some questions that I'm hoping can be raised during that interview. And so I'm just going to read them. What is the city of Pittsburgh's position? Oh, I forgot to mention my neighborhood is Friendship. I'm at 221 South Atlantic Avenue. And I've lived in the area for over 20 years. And was that all I was supposed to provide?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, my first question. What is the city of Pittsburgh's position on ensuring police protect residents from illegal activity, including misconduct by fellow officers or federal agents? Multiple studies show higher rates of domestic violence in police families, often underreported due to fear of retaliation. What is the department's policy when an officer is accused of domestic violence, and what discipline occurs if allegations are substantiated? How will community policing be strengthened without increasing patrol presence in Black neighborhoods? Do you affirm that protests and civil disobedience are protected First Amendment activities? Under what specific circumstances would peaceful protest alone justify dispersal or arrest? How will you ensure officers do not retaliate against protesters, journalists, legal observers, or medics? How many officers have been disciplined for such retaliation in the past, and what will change under new leadership? When an officer commits misconduct, especially excessive force or constitutional violations, what consequences will actually follow? If the chief commits to not cooperating with ICE, what discipline will occur if officers are later found to be collaborating in any way? How will the department ensure immigrant communities feel safe calling 911 in emergencies, especially in the current political climate? And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ben Case.
Hi, my name is Ben Case. I live at 1715 Meadville Street in Fineview. My comment is in the same vein as the previous speakers. I really appreciated those questions. I also appreciate council's motion regarding the city's position against HR 7147. Just to add a little bit, this is in regards to the interviews with the new police chief and the director of public safety tomorrow. So my questions, which I hope you ask in these interviews, are how will the director of public safety protect public safety if the people threatening public safety are wearing vests that say immigration or border patrol? And how will the chief of police enforce the law if the people breaking the law are wearing vests that say immigration or border patrol? And how do they advise the residents of Pittsburgh to respond if we're being attacked by people who are wearing vests that say immigration or border patrol? So if armed masked men kick open my door and invade my home, should I call the police? And if I do, will they respond? Will they do anything? Right? If armed masked men abduct one of my daughter's classmates from school to use her as bait in order to arrest her parents, should I call the police? And if I do, will they do anything about it? Right? So, you know, we could go on with scenarios, but yeah, really the question is, are the police chief and the director of public safety willing and able to protect the residents of Pittsburgh if the people threatening us are ICE agents or other federal agents? Thank you.
Thank you. And our last registered speaker is Tim Stevens.
All right. Good morning, Council. Thanks for the opportunity. I echo the comments made from the last two speakers. Tim Stevens, the founder and CEO of the Black Political Empowerment Project, BPEP, located at 2201 Wiley Avenue, 15219. I just had a brief comment today. Obviously, with what's going on across the country that we've seen, and hopefully all of us on this call are quite disturbed at what people who are supposedly holding up the what this country stands for are being totally against what this country stands for. When we bring in a new police chief and a new safety director, those of us who are activists particularly, and those of us who have been fighting for civil and human rights for years, in my case, over 55 years, that we're going to be concerned. I'm happy to say some people may have some concerns, but I'm going to make a personal statement. I have worked personally with Jason Lando for some time when he was in Pittsburgh as commander of number 5. I found him to be one of the most community-oriented officers with whom I've ever worked. And I feel that that comes from his heart. And I see that he would be a great police chief. I actually had hoped that he would have been our police chief selection under the previous administration, to be honest. But I think Jason would be a great community-oriented police chief. If there are any issues that people have with him, I think he'll be open enough to find solution. Sheldon Williams, the incoming safety director, I had a brief conversation with him a number of weeks ago, and he works with someone, our vice chair of BPEP, who finds him a very positive person. And based on my conversation with him and the philosophy that he stated, I think we have hopefully a dynamic duo coming in to lead the safety department of Pittsburgh, the police chief and the safety director. The Black Political Empowerment Project, BPEP, will certainly be working hand in hand. As most of you know, I think, we probably have worked on police issues as much as any organization in Pittsburgh during the last 40 years under BPEP, and beyond that, when I was NACP president and executive director in the 70s. So we have a stake in how police operate. So we look forward to a positive vote from council and a positive administration in terms of policing in Pittsburgh.
Thank you very much. That exhausts our list of registered speakers. Has anyone joined that would wish to speak? Please raise your hand. I don't believe I see anyone, but just to double check, please raise your hand if you wish to speak. If not, we'll move on to the presentation of papers, beginning with Councilman Sharlin, Chair of Human Resources.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Councilperson Sharlin presents Bill number 56, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service to enter into an agreement with Goodwill of Southwestern PA for administrative services related to the 2026 Learn and Earn Summer Youth Employment Program at a cost not to exceed $200,000.
And Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Safety and Wellness. I believe he has one paper, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 57, Resolution amending Resolution 958 of 2024, entitled Resolution Authorizing the Mayor and the Director of the Office of Management and Budget to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development local share account statewide to provide funding to purchase 2 ambulances. The grant proposal includes an ask of $1 million for this stated purpose to accept the grant and authorize expenditures.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Groves, Chair of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 58, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements or amendments thereto with Solutions for Networks for network support services to provide information technology consulting services and resources as needed for on-site or remote engineering, design, and support, including firewall, core networking, and edge networking support at a cost not to exceed $44,835 over 1 year.
Thank you. And Councilman Mosley, Chair of Intergovernmental Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill number 59, Resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's official sewage facilities plan for 122 through 140 Auburn Street at no cost to the city.
And Councilwoman Salanetro, Chair of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Stalinetro presents Bill number 60, Resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 210, acceptance of gifts to the city of the city code, the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to accept a donation from Michael Baker International in the amount of $6,000 to purchase items for Safety Town and Safe Routes to School programming. Bill 61, Resolution amending Resolution 972 of 2024, entitled Resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to apply for grant funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development's local share account statewide to provide funding for the Shinley Heights Pavilion construction project. The proposal includes an ask of $1 million for this stated purpose to accept the grant, decrease the amount, and authorize expenditures. Bill 62, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement to provide membership dues with the National Association of City Transportation Officials, Inc. from January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, not to exceed $35,000. And Bill number 63, Resolution granting a vacation of Eshelman Street from Perrysville Avenue to its terminus at no cost to the city in the 25th Ward, 1st Council District, City of Pittsburgh.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Finance and Law.
No new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Warwick, Chair of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services.
Oops, no new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. And Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
No new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. And I have 3. If we could first read the appointment.
Council President Lavelle presents Bill number 64, Resolution appointing Kim Salanetro as a board member of the Allegheny County Sanitary Authority for a term to expire December 31st, 2028, serving the remainder of the term for a seat vacated by Teresa Kell Smith.
May we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Councilwoman. And now our 2 communications.
Bill 65, communication from Rhea Price, Acting Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting to City Council the attached status update from the Grants Office for the week ended January 23rd, 2026. And Bill number 68, communication from Mayor O'Connor, submitting a declaration of disaster emergency due to the January 24th, 25th, 2026 snowstorm.
And we need a motion to read, receive, and file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bills have been read, received, and filed. Our next order of business is reports of committee for final action, beginning with Councilwoman Kim Salanetro presenting the Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Councilwoman Salanetro presents Bill number 52, reported to Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for January 21st, 2026 with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 10, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of Mobility and Infrastructure to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Green Light Go program for the purpose of receiving grant funds in the amount of $1,394,029.06 for intersection upgrades at 3 locations in the city of Pittsburgh. The grant requires a match from the city of Pittsburgh in the amount of $348,507.27 for this stated purpose, for a total project cost of $1,742,536.33. Bill number 12, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to take all necessary actions to acquire and secure a right-of-way, aerial easement, and permanent and/or temporary construction easement as needed, including the taking of property by eminent domain if necessary, involving the California Avenue Bridge project at no cost to the city. Bill 13, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to take all necessary actions to acquire and secure a right-of-way, aerial easement, and permanent and/or temporary construction easement as needed, including the taking of property by eminent domain if necessary, involving the West Carson Street Bridge project at no cost to the city. Bill 14, resolution providing for an agreement with CSX Transportation, Inc. for preliminary engineering work on the Elizabeth Street Bridge rehabilitation and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $19,580, reimbursable at 100%. And Bill number 15, resolution granting unto Brashear Association Incorporated, their successors and assigns, the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use at their own cost and expense, at no cost to the city, a retaining wall, steps, and planters at the intersection of Bousman and Grape Street, 30th Ward, 3rd Council District.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye where name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Mosley,
Aye.
Mrs. Salanetro,
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legal required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilperson Robert Charlin, presenting the Committee of Human Resources.
Councilperson Charlin presents Bill number 53, reported to Committee on Human Resources for January 21st, 2026 with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 5, resolution amending Resolution 559 of 2022, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into a professional services agreement and/or contract with Industrial Organizational Solutions, Inc. for professional consulting services in connection with police lieutenant and police sergeant position job analysis and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $276,000 for a new not to exceed amount of $375,000.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? If none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye where name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Mosley,
Aye.
Mrs. Salanetro,
Sorry, aye.
Mrs. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally, and that moves us to Councilman Bobby Wilson, presenting the Committee of Land Use and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 54, reported to Committee on Land Use and Economic Development for January 21st, 2026, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill number 959, 2024-959, ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code Title 9, Zoning Code, Article 6, Chapter 919, Signs, to create and establish the North Shore Entertainment District and set forth regulations for neighborhood or district gateway signs.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Sharland,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Mosley,
Aye.
Mrs. Salanetro,
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. And finally, Councilman Kari Mosley presenting the Committee on Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill number 55, reported to Committee on Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs for January 21st, 2026, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 11, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with Allegheny County Economic Development for the purpose of receiving grant funds from the Gaming Economic Development Tourism Fund in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for the Warrington Recreation Center.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Sharland,
Aye.
Mr. Coghill, Ms. Gross,
Aye.
Mr. Mosley,
Aye.
Mrs. Salanetro,
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger,
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick,
Aye.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That moves us to motions and resolutions. Is there anything from members? If not, that takes us to
Council
meeting.
President, sorry, I
Sorry.
couldn't get off mute soon enough. I would like to motion officially to call for an executive session on Andover Terrace. There's no corresponding legislation at this time, but the law department would still like to update us. It actually is already scheduled for today, in a few hours.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman Warwick.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to our DPW crews and our public safety crews and the mayor's team and everybody who is just, I've been, warming my slippers for the past couple of days, and I just huge shout out. I know, and thank you also to all the residents for just being patient. This is a snowfall, obviously, like we have not seen in over 10 years, I think. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody. Everyone at the city, you're doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work, and all of our residents, thank you so much for your patience. I know my folks in my district everyone who's called has been incredibly kind, incredibly understanding. And, we definitely appreciate that. So that's all. Just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other member? If not, we do have meeting announcements. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, council hold a virtual executive session on the Andover Terrace as aforementioned. Also this afternoon at 1:30, council hold a virtual cablecast public hearing on bills 39 and 40 as relate to the referendum questions regarding changing the budget approval rules to ensure timely passage at the end of legislative sessions and to adjust public hearing notice requirements in light of the loss of both newspapers of general circulation in the city of Pittsburgh. Speaker registration will close at 11:30. Tomorrow, Wednesday, January 28th at 9:30, council will hold a pre-agenda interview for the Comprehensive Municipal Pension Trust Fund. Following the pre-agenda, council will hold our standing committee meeting at 10 a.m. Also tomorrow at 1:30, council will hold pre-agenda interviews for Jason Lando as the Chief of Police and for Sheldon Williams as the Public Safety Director. To register to speak at these meetings, please fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage by the deadline. You may also call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. With that, I'll entertain a motion to excuse the absent member, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.